All right, Gustavo, thank you for writing into the Disc Golf Answer Man with your question about how do you prepare for a tournament. So, in my mind, when I'm getting ready for the tournament, there's 3 things that I want to make sure that I can check off the list so that I'm ready to go when the first tee happens. Number 1, I want to make sure that my mind is ready. Number 2, that my body's ready. And number 3, that my bag is ready to go. So, we're going to start with the bag. I don't want to leave the car until I'm sure that I have everything that I'm going to need for the round. Because if I get to the first tee and I'm not ready for the round, that's just shot my mind. So part of getting my mind ready is being confident that I have all of the tools necessary and being comfortable with the surroundings. So let's take a look at the trunk. So the first thing I want to do with my bag is I want to make sure that all of the discs that I think I'm going to need for the round are in my bag. There's nothing worse than getting to the tee and realizing that you left your favorite putter in the car or on the practice basket or something like that. So I'm going to make sure I got my putters. Now I want to make sure that for this particular course that I'm playing that I have the right discs. For instance, I know that this round I'm about to play, there are a lot of hyzer shots and there's some water on the course. So I want to make sure that I have enough stable discs to make it through the round in case some things go wrong at the water hole. So I've already taken out my flippy driver because I know I'm not going to need it on this course. And I'm going to put in an extra enforcer so that I've got just that extra sense of confidence that I'm going to have enough stable discs to get through the round. Now, you don't like getting out into a tournament and not having your chair. Tournament rounds can be long, sometimes 3 or 4 hours, and just being able to sit down every now and again for 20 seconds, it can actually make a difference over the course of a long tournament. So now that my bag is ready, I've got my discs ready to go. I want to make sure that I've got water. If it's going to be some sort of inclement weather, I want to make sure that I've got extra towels. If it's going to be raining, I want to make sure I have my umbrella. So for right now, it's a big, bright, shiny day, so the only thing I want to make sure that I take is a hat so that I can shield my eyes during the course of the round. So now that my equipment is ready, I want to make sure that I have all the little extras. Right now, it's pretty warm because the sun's out, but I know here in 3 hours, the sun's going to be going down, the temperature's going to drop, and the wind's going to pick up. So I've got an extra beanie. I've got extra towels in case I need that for the round. Want to make sure that I've got my rule book. It's not worth getting into an argument with somebody about some sort of rules difference because that's going to get you off your game. You just pull out the rule book, you check them, and then you move on. And I want to make sure that I've got my special mini because I don't like playing around without it. And so if I get to that first time that I'm going to mark my shot and I don't have my mini, it's going to take me off my mental game. So I want to make sure that I have everything ready to go. Because I've got all this extra space in the Ranger bag, I know I can fit it. So my bag is ready. Now it's time to go move on and get my body and my mind ready to go play this tournament. All right, so I've made it away from my car and I'm confident that I've got all the tools ready for the round. So now I want to get my body ready. Back in my younger days, I used to just step out of the car and begin throwing full speed. And I noticed that I was getting sore after the round. I spoke to my brother who's a physical therapist and he said, well, you're getting old. You got to start stretching. And so he sent me some stretches and I've been doing those for 10 to 15 years now. So before the round, there's 3 primary stretches I want to do on my arms, shoulders, and upper body. The first one is I'm going to take my throwing arm and I want to reach back to around the middle of my back. I'm going to take my non-throwing hand, put it on top of my elbow, and I'm going to push back and down. And by doing this, what I'm doing is I'm stretching all of these side muscles through here and then the underside of my arm. I'm going to hold that for 10 to 15 seconds and then shake it out. The second stretch I want to do is if you have a pole or a tree or something like that, you can put your hand against it. You can also do it without if you just provide the right tension. And basically, I'm going to stick my chest out and I'm going to start stretching my arm back. What that's going to do is it's going to stretch all across the top of my pec here. If you have something to hold on to, you can stretch a little more, turning your hips away, and that's going to get a stretch through the front side of your shoulder, the top muscles of your arm, and across your pec. The third stretch I'm going to do, I need the help of my friendly towel here. I'm going to take the towel in my non-throwing hand. I'm going to stick it over my back and grab it with my throwing hand, and I'm going to pull up with my left hand, with my non-throwing arm, and I'm going to squeeze hard with both hands. So what this is doing, not only is it stretching out the muscles in my forearm from grabbing the towel and pulling it down, by also pulling up on that arm, it's getting my shoulder all stretched out. So once I have those muscles loose and I've shaken all of them out, I want to start getting my hips and my legs loose. So what I do is I just start a very simple twisting process. I start slow, and as I move more, and each time I'm pushing just a little bit further till we're at the end, I can have a full stretch all the way around the axis on both sides so that my entire upper body's getting loose. The last stretch that I like to do before I start throwing is I'll grab 3 or 4 discs and I'll do my normal throwing motion. So basically this acts like a weighted disc, same way that baseball players will warm up with a heavy bat. And I'll just go through my motion with all 3 of these discs, just trying to get my body used to the motion and ready to come out here and play in the slightly cold weather. After my body's ready, I'll start with my least stable discs and I'll just do a standstill throw, very slow. And basically, I'm not even really putting all my body into it. I'm just going through the motion. I'll work through until I get to my stable and my high-speed drivers, and I will throw them full speed just to make sure that my body's getting loose. All right, so now that my bag is ready and my body's ready, I want to make sure my mind is ready for the round. So for me, that means a couple of different things. Number one, it means that I've already thought through every hole that I'm about to play that round. Hopefully I've practiced this course ahead of time. If I haven't practiced it, at the very minimum, I want to have walked through the course. I really hate playing a course blind because there's so many things that can happen and that you're unprepared for. And that'll turn your mind off to where you're not thinking about doing well, you're thinking about surviving. So I want to get my mind ready by thinking through the holes. And then there's a couple of things that I want to do for my body that help my mind get in the right mindset. Number one, if I know that there's going to be a shot that I'm going to have to do over and over on this course, I'm going to practice that very particular shot. For instance, I know that on this course, there's going to be 5 or 6 opportunities for me to have an approach shot that's pretty wide open from about 200 feet. So I'm going to go to a basket and stand about 200 feet away from it. And for that particular shot, I throw my soft harp. And I'm going to throw that harp over and over until I get comfortable with that shot on that day. So after I've prepared that shot that I know I'm going to get to do several times, I'm going to go to the basket to warm up my putting. Now the purpose of warming up putting for me is not to necessarily change anything in my putt, because I've already done 10,000 putts getting ready for this tournament. That's happened in the weeks and months and the years before I ever stood on the course on this day. So that 5 minutes right before the round, it isn't going to change anything. But what it's going to do is it's going to allow me to get my motion down, and it's going to allow me to feel comfortable about the putts that I'm about to throw. For me personally, I'm going to go to the basket of the hole that I'm starting on, and that's where I'm going to practice my putt. That's where I'm going to warm up. And I'm going to go on all sides of that, because hopefully when I throw my drive or my upshot into that hole, I'm going to land at one of the spots that I just practiced. And so then when I step up to that first putt on the first hole of that round, I know in my head and in my heart, I've already made this putt once today, and so I can just step up and throw it with confidence. So that's how I get ready for the tournament. So when the 2 minutes blows, I can go shake the hand of my competitors, and I can get ready to go have a fantastic round. So 2 minutes is about to blow here. Let me get in the last couple of putts, and then I'll get started on this round.